Hello, my name is Jim Lee, and I'm so glad that you're joining me today. I have a question for you. Have you noticed how life is a big mystery? We don't know what's going to happen from one moment to the next. Uh, it reminds me of this movie, I think some of you may have heard of it, called Forrest Gump, where Forrest Gump's mother told him, life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get inside. Well, that really explains life. So today, let's look at life as an unwritten mystery that is not to be feared, but to be revered as a blessing. To do this, we need to take on what I would call a mind of a mystic. One of the mystics that I like of old, his name is Teilhard de Chardin, and he spoke of our universe as essentially unfinished by design. And he says that its unfinished nature is not a problem to be solved, but an invitation into aligning with the arrow of evolution itself. So when we investigate more deeply what he's saying, we see that our planet, our solar system, our galaxy, and even our entire universe are all undergoing what I would call significant metamorphosis, actually, and it's always evolving. Every year, for I would say 13.7 billion years, some scientists say that our universe has been in existence. It has changed its shape and its content. Stars change their appearances, new stars are formed, and old stars actually die away. Also in 1929, the astronomer Edwin Hubble showed that distant galaxies are receding from the Earth. And now it's been proven that our Earth is actually expanding. Our Earth is changing into something new and yet to be, as it is ever evolving. And we are in this universe, and as Deepak Chopra says, we are the universe itself, which means that we are evolving and changing in something new. And so our lives are evolving and changing into something new, better, greater. Albert Einstein said, the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. This is the living field of limitless possibilities, where the preciousness of all hearts' desires resides. It can be viscerally sensed, felt, appreciated, even loved, but never understood. Its great wisdom navigated, but never controlled. This limitless field is a mysterious place that we're going to go to today. I would call it a limitless place. Just before anything happens, or just before something occurs. So in spite of what is, I would call it unwritten, in spite of everything that is filled with uncertainty, it's still a sacred place. This is a place where the old belief systems will no longer capture our attention, but something wonderful and new can actually show up. Now we can navigate this, but can we never control it? This is the place for the mystic, you and I, to be. Now, it is from this mysterious, mystical place that we enter into what I would call conscious co-creation, where every manifestation that happens can actually be an opening for the next unknown possibility as it unfolds and unfolds. There's a story in the Bible, I think, that exemplifies this perfectly, and it's in the book of Genesis, the story of Joseph, who exemplifies having a mysterious life, and each opening is something else occurring. Joseph is the 11th son of 12, born to one of the great patriarchs of the Bible, Jacob. Now, Joseph is Jacob's favorite, and because of this, a sibling rivalry occurs, and the rest of his siblings, they really hate him. And then Jacob does something else. He goes and he makes him an amazing colored coat, a multicolored coat. And with that, he doesn't really get to do a lot of work. He struts around in it, and because of this, his brothers, they really hate him. And then Jacob has Joseph spy on his brothers and report back how they're doing, and Joseph is a tattletale. And for that, they hate him even more. But there's more. To make matters worse, Joseph was an outstanding dreamer, and he had a dream in which he saw his brothers bow down before him. And then Joseph goes and tells his brothers about this, what I would call an outrageous dream. Well, they hate him even more. One day, Jacob sends Joseph out to check on his brothers. And his brothers spot him like a mile away, coming toward them in his multicolored coat. And they hate him so much, before he gets there, said, we're just going to kill him. When he gets there, well, they decided, well, maybe I won't kill him. So they just threw him in this pit or this well so that he could really die of his own accord. But when they did that, the next morning they decided, well, maybe we're not going to do that. So my thing is, what's going to happen then to my brother Joseph? It's like a mystery. Well, the next day they take him out of the pit, and they said, we're going to sell him into slavery, because they had thought, we can make money off of him. So they put him on this caravan going towards Egypt. They get the money, and he is off to Egypt. The question, what's going to happen next? It's a mystery. And Joseph is then taken into Egypt, where he's sold to Potiphar, who is actually the chief of police in Egypt. So now Joseph doesn't complain. The Bible doesn't say he said a word. He just surrendered to the moment, and he uses his intelligence and his leadership skills and everything he has to be in the present moment. And what he does, he eventually works his way up to be head of the household. No one saw this coming. Everything is actually great. He went from sold into slavery to being head of the household. Everybody loves Joseph, but we have a problem. So does Potiphar's wife. She takes a liking to him, and she tries unsuccessfully to seduce Joseph. He refuses. She turns and she hates him, and what you say is, hell has no fury? Well, she goes to her husband, and he is falsely accused, and her husband, who is in charge of the prison, throws him in prison. So what's going to happen Now, it's a mystery. Well, he's in prison and he's there for several years. And it looks like, hey, this is where he's probably going to end up. So what he does is what he's done every place he's gone. He does the Joseph thing. And that is, he lends himself totally to the moment, to the process, does everything he can with love and honesty. The gods love him, promote him, and he's in fact now put in charge of the inmates. And while he's there, he's doing his usual thing. He's interpreting dreams to the fellow prisoners, and it looks like he's going to be there. What's going to happen next? Well, what happens next is unexpected. Pharaoh gets word that Joseph has the ability to interpret a dream because the Pharaoh has been having these dreams that nobody's been able to interpret, but Joseph does. Joseph says, I know what the dreams mean. Egypt is going to have 7 bountiful years of wonderful crops, and we'll have wonderful things that will be available. And then we're going to have 7 years of famine. The Pharaoh loved it, and as a reward, Pharaoh puts Joseph to be what we might call Secretary of Agriculture. He puts him in charge of everything, and it's not long after that Joseph finds himself as Pharaoh's right-hand man. Wow. Who knew? Who knew that Joseph, who was dropped off in a well to die, then sold into slavery, and then thrown into prison, would end up at the right hand of the Pharaoh? Well, when the famine hits, guess what? Joseph's brothers show up in Egypt looking for food, looking for grain. They approach Joseph because he's in charge of everything. The brothers that once, I would call it, had Joseph's life in their hands, now the roles are reversed. He has their life in his hands. Now, he could have refused them, and Lord knows they deserve it. But once again, Joseph didn't go there. He went to what I would call this mystical place, a different point of view. He saw things differently. He realized that his brothers really meant everything they did for evil, but the Almighty God had another thing in place, and that God used this condition and circumstance to bring something good. So the expression in the Bible is, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. Not only did he mean it for good for Joseph, but he meant it in good for the entire household. Now, this is a great story, one of my favorite stories because it has so many different meanings to it. However, one of the meanings is this: unless we can put ourselves in it and really slip into the real meaning and the mystical essence of it, it really doesn't mean any good. So now I want to put ourselves like we are Joseph, that we are trusting the unknown. And no matter what happens, we are willing to be so present and fully participating that something else can happen. So I'm inviting us. Can we be willing to enter into a mysterious life that is always doing and giving us and bringing us something good? Like Joseph, when we step into this place, something miraculous happens. So today, let's take a look at life from a different place and create a space that is mystical in which we can step into. So in the story of Joseph, he never complain. So the first thing I'd like for us to do as we step into this mystical place, suspend judgment. Suspend judgment. Don't judge the book by the cover. Release the thoughts of evaluating and trying to figure out what's good and this is a bad experience and I shouldn't have it. We got to let that go. And then I'm inviting us now to relax and also stop judging ourselves like we're doing something wrong and whatnot. What if that is not the case? Instead, let's live as if the next moment is a wonderful mystery that is unfolding. The key is for us to suspend judgment and to bring love and our best foot forward in the experience, like Joseph. Next thing, like Joseph, I want us to find the sweet spot and just be open. And let's just say the best is yet to be. There is this magical middle ground, I would say, between the third dimension reality and the fourth dimension of infinite possibilities. I'm inviting us to be willing to stay open to love and to allow the new insights to come. The key here is to trust that no matter what, love will always win. The next thing is to let go of the need for an answer of any kind. We've been trained to look for an answer, but once we get an answer, we close off the door of the mystical experience that is unfolding at the moment. We shut that door. An answer cuts us off. So be open and allow insights to come, not from the mind, but from our heart, from that intuitive awareness that's within us. Then the other thing is realize that in this attitude, I want us to be like in the book of Matthew, and Jesus is talking, and he says, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." So relax. Let's enjoy this. The last thing I want to say, don't struggle or strain. Just relax and enjoy occupying this mysterious place, whatever it is in this particular moment. Whatever it is, you can relax in it. It's like being in meditation. It's like being in the silence. And in that moment, it's a free flowing of energy going back and forth. So regardless of the activity in which you're in the midst of, you can relax, don't strain, don't struggle. It's like you're in a meditative moment and you are allowing. And what you're allowing is you're allowing life in its radiance, in its richness, in its depth to be known, to come through. Well, that's the message that I want to live with you. Live each moment as if it is filled with the best is yet to be. This yet to be, it's not written. It's a clean slate. So what we're doing in a mystical sense, we not only are writing this life that's occurring, we are co-creating, co-writing it with the universe. And the universe has something wonderful for you and I. The best is yet to be. God bless you. Let's have a great life.